Getting color every day, posting it online. Kind of a continuous everyday thing.
Kind of making a big deal about color?
Yeah. Not sure how that will work. We'll see.
I like color.
Good morning. We have 3 clients. Shay, seems smart. Hanson, I understand he used to be a foreign correspondent. And this Malcolm Parks character, this seems subversive to me. Anyway, I want to hear all about your artists. You've all been briefed, apparently. So what about you?
My client, pretty cool guy, his name's Nils Finholt, and he decided to do a blog about graffiti. His blog is very interesting because it has a bunch of different artists, articles. He even received an interview with an artist called No Touching Ground, a local Seattle street artist. So the concept there is to kind of create a community discussion, kind of a forum, if you will, for people to chat about the issues of graffiti, because a lot of people have problems with it, but a lot of people also enjoy it. And the framing of the site is to show people that graffiti actually does have a value in the community.
And you?
So my client, Adrienne, is her blog is all about color. She came from, most recently from Eastern Washington, and before that was living in Los Angeles in a very colorful area. And when she first came to Seattle, she expected it to be rainy and gray and dreary, but she actually found some really interesting color going on. So her blog is framed around going out nearly every day and finding interesting color in different places all around Seattle.
All right, and what about your fiber arts, was it, person? Well, I'm working with a fiber artist, Carolyn, and she is concerned that fiber arts are not accepted as mainstream art by the art world. And a lot of people don't know what fiber arts are. They're not just quilts. They're not just pretty things knitted out of sparkly yarn. They can be edgy. They can be like paintings. They break all of the rules of traditional needle arts. They have raw edges. They aren't made with rulers. They're not made with perfectly symmetrical dimensions. And they can be, there's a huge variety of what they can be. And she feels that if the rest of the world was educated about fiber art, fiber artists would have more prominence in mainstream art.
My client's name is Kristen Dressman. It might be Driesman. I'm not sure. It's German. She's born and raised in Seattle, and she's currently a student, but she's been an arts and crafts lover since she was a kid. So she's got this vision for a blog called Creative Quince about local crafters and artists who are using their talents and their passions to raise support and enthusiasm for local artists who are using their talent for nonprofit, for community enrichment, for environmental awareness, things like that.
So, what are you all sitting there for? Build me a network. Now! That's all. Emily, what do you mean he hasn't gotten it done yet? Well, he's had 24 hours.
So we just got out of our assignment meeting, and it was pretty intense. She gave us the task of developing networks for these blogger clients that we have.
Brr. Okay.
Tiger face. Arr! Lion face. Arr.
So, fiber arts, that's a tough one. I mean, fiber arts are really cool. People should know that.
The whole time I kept thinking she was gonna bite my head off or criticize my shoes. But anyways.
Oh my god. Oh, wait. I got it. Okay. We need to create high quality blogs. We need to use other platforms like Facebook maybe, Twitter, Flickr. It's graffiti. A lot of people like visual stuff.
Color is what I am trying to figure out how to build a network around. It's kind of a very broad thing, but at least it's in Seattle, so thinking about building a network by using a lot of Facebook, Twitter, really getting to know my client Adrienne and telling her story and about why she loves color so much.
People think quilts and they think mittens and they think therefore that fiber artists are old-fashioned, not tech-savvy. Nothing could be farther from the truth. That's what I've discovered.
I think what I'm going to try and do is work with my client, Creative Quince, to develop some kind of unique look to the blog using lots of visuals.
Okay, and we can maybe try to create really good high-quality blogs. Okay, that might work. Okay, what kind of blogs could you create? Make videos. You can get out there, you can go to Tubbs, you can go find maybe some local artists, hopefully they'll be painting, and you can interview them, and hopefully that can help connect it to the community.
Don't want to mess this up because I'm terrified of messing it up. So, yeah.
They'll be drawn in, and I think we're on our way.
And if you can only get those blogs on there, I think it's going to work.
It's a simple little ad campaign.
How am I supposed to make something go
We're not
viral?
turning the Titanic, you know.
Like, is there a recipe? I would like to know. Because she wants these things to go viral. And I don't, that's impossible. She's crazy.
This woman, they say she's just completely insane. I'm so glad I'm a freelancer. I'm out of here as soon as this thing is done.
I'm not.
I think our boss has huffed way too many paint fumes.
Well, what do you have to say for yourselves? What I found worked for Fiber Arts was to stick to the tried and true platforms of Facebook and Twitter, write about local events, although in my last post about Nick Cave had an all-time high following, so I think that... But really what worked the most for Fiber Artists was to concentrate on local events. That was my most successful post.
Yeah, I think for us, what we found was best for building a network around kind of local crafters was trying to find those really unique stories that were both personable and community and would kind of engage both aspects of that story. So it would be focusing on being transparent and emotionally honest for Kristen as she blogged to make sure she was engaging with the content herself and reflecting on that in her blog post. And then making sure that we blogged about artists and crafters in the community who had some kind of notoriety already built up. So they had a following. So they were interested in hearing about their favorite artists and their stories. And they would want to read the posts and follow along. I think that really helped increase awareness of her blog, Creative Quince, and also awareness on Facebook and Twitter as those stories got out there.
So for my client, Nils, it was really interesting challenge because he spent a long time trying to meet through the digital networks graffiti artists, and many of them are actually quite protective of their identity, as you might imagine. Some of the work that they do can be illegal in some situations. But for him, he found in the university district here, Tubbs, an amazing free art space. So he spent a lot of time hanging out there and eventually met a few artists who were willing to allow him to film them while they're creating their work. After creating that work, he pushed that out to YouTube and used that to connect to other networks, for instance, Flickr and Facebook and Twitter.
So initially we tried to spread the network and gain followers via Facebook and Twitter. What we did find is that Facebook was largely unsuccessful for Color Bee, probably because of the filter bubble that happens sometimes when networks self-filter out information. So after Adrienne figured this out, we decided to really focus on Twitter and Pinterest and other ways of building a network with people that are really interested in photography itself, not necessarily the people in her network, because the people in her personal network might not be interested in photography and spreading it to their friends. So initially what we tried didn't work, but after that we were focusing more on Twitter and on Pinterest.
I have these people to impress. Shay, who's a smart man. Hanson, could have been an actor. And this man, Malcolm. How can you disappoint this face? Those cheeks. Has the eyes of an eagle. Well, what's your advice?
For my client, essentially, he had success through creating high-quality blogs. These were the type of blogs that essentially the neighborhood and the community could look at, and they could see themselves within it. So this kind of created a system of trust that they wanted to be a part of.
Advice for my blog and Color Bee would be to keep on building her network through Twitter and through Pinterest, mostly visual modes of communication and building a network in that way. Also, what I think is for her is to find an influencer, someone who is a tastemaker in the Seattle area, who other people follow and who would trust to have good taste for blogs. So if she were to recommend a blog, this blog in particular, she could definitely spread the word and gain followers for Adrian's blog.
Well, I think I would have a couple recommendations for best practices. One, I would say, be transparent in your blogs and how you write. Reflect your real personality. And then two, write about things that are current, that are interesting, that are going to capture people's attention. I think both of those will help you engage a digital network more easily.
We found that the most important thing was not to get too caught up in analytics and numbers, even though we felt that they were giving us a rough estimate of readership. But we were after true engagement, and so that meant reaching out to the community, writing posts on a variety of fiber arts so that we caught people from all genres within that community, and continuing to reach out to them and participating both online and offline. So I think really when a blogger enjoys their subject and tells a compelling story, that's the ultimate way to capture a readership. That's all.